Okay, so today we have Eddie Crispin from Portsmouth, former 657 crew. So how are you today, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Good, thanks. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. I really appreciate you for doing this. So what I like to do is go back to the beginning. So when did you first go to Fratton Park?
The first game I went to was FA Cup third round against Tranmere Rovers in January 1970.
Right.
So I would have been 7 at the time.
Okay, did you go with your dad?
Yeah, I went with my dad and my mum's brother, my Uncle Bernard,
Right.
who had his leg blown off in the Second World War.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had one leg from the age of 19.
Christ almighty.
Yeah.
So hard life. So did you carry on going to Fratton Park after that, with your dad?
Yeah, the first game I went to, we went on the North Stand, and I always remember being down at the front, and they had a red cinder running track around the pitch.
Yeah.
And I remember getting home, and I must have been playing with the running track the whole game because my hands were covered in, I don't know, the stuff from the running track.
Yeah, the red stuff.
And got home, and like my mum said, "Oh, how was it?" And I said, "Oh, brilliant! I'll go to the next game and everything." So you just sort of got the bug from an early age. Obviously, everyone in my family supported Pompey because being a Portsmouth family, so it sort of was ingrained in you a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So when did you sort of first start going with your pals, and you got to a certain age where you probably didn't want to go with your dad anymore?
Yeah, I suppose when I was about 10 or 11, we didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
I had some good friends at the junior school I was with who used to go with their dad quite a bit. And then we used to go. But what we used to do, if we didn't have the money to get in the game, we used to go down at about 4:15 when Pompey, we'd hang about around the ground, and then 4:15 they used to open a little gate in the Fratton end to let people out. We used to run in then. And watch the last 20 minutes of the game. I suppose we were about 10 or 11 at the
time. Yeah. I've done that myself where I live. How did you engage yourself with a certain group at Portsmouth then? How did that all happen?
Yeah, so I started going away in about 1973 to about 77. And I'd go to maybe 1 or 2 away games a season. It would normally be with a couple of mates and their dad. And when I was about 15, started obviously having a bit of your own money and everything. So we'd start going on the train then to the local games, Swindon, Oxford, things like that. And then obviously a group of us sort of from around our area got together. And as we left school, there was a lad who was a bit older than us. He used to take us in a minibus to the away games.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we used to meet like on a Saturday morning about 5, 5:30, whatever, all climb in the back of the furniture van and drive off up to some northern outpost. Watch Pompey. I mean, sometimes we wouldn't get back till Sunday dinner time. We'd be further north after at 1 o'clock in the morning of the next day than we were when we left the ground.
A proper away day.
Yeah.
So obviously with Portsmouth, it's quite a small city.
Yeah.
So was there sort of one firm straight away? Or was there different areas that sort of was like you were still Pompey, but there was different groups within Pompey?
Yeah, that's exactly it, Matt. So you'd have the Island were sort of Eastleigh and Milton area. Then you'd have the Stampshaw boys from the Air Balloon. Arlott with the Milton Arms. You have the Havelock from Landport. And you'd have groups from Gosport, Porchester, Fareham, Lee Park, all different groups, but obviously all coming under the umbrella of supporting Pompey on the Saturday or the Tuesday.
Right. So it's well known how the 657 crew come about. But how did it catch on, Eddie?
Well, so we used to go a lot in furniture removal vans and minibuses when we were sort of, I don't know, from 15 to about 20. And then Purcell brought out the young person's rail cards.
That's right, yeah.
And the train travel became so cheap then that people started going on the train, and then there were so many going on the train you didn't even have to bother buying a ticket in the end. Just you turn up on the Saturday morning, everyone would be there, get on the train, and off you go. Probably, I don't know if there was 150 on the train, maybe 15 had tickets or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just used to pass them about as the ticket guard came along. Yeah.
Well, that's one at the front. So was it ever organised, Eddie, or was it organised chaos?
With POMPEY, I would say the most disorganised firm ever.
Right.
There's never anyone you would call a leader or someone who really organised anything. A few things became a bit organised when a couple of the trips we did, like taking the bikes to Cambridge, which was done as an absolute piss take at the start. We just all said, we'll all take bikes to Cambridge. So I suppose about 30 of us went on push bikes to Cambridge. And then we came out of the station. The police were trying to corral everyone, and we all pedalled off into the distance. And we were outside a pub. And what we did, we all just threw the bikes on the floor. And they were in a big bundle there. And a load of Japanese and American tourists came along, obviously, for the university.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to one of these Japanese, we're the arts students, and this is one of our arts projects. And they were all getting their camcorders and cameras and everything out and taking pictures of this pile of bikes. So we never did get the Nobel Prize for art for it, though.
No, I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have. I watched the Casuals documentary that was with Cass, and you had a little part in that, and obviously you said about when the police dog got chucked in the back of the van. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I say we used to go in the furniture vans, and we'd gone to Cardiff. POMPEY in Cardiff used to be quite a bit of a battle in those days.
Yeah.
They'd turn up at ours, we'd always turn up at theirs. Always used to kick off, and it was after the game. We were driving out of Cardiff, but still quite near the ground. And obviously the three lads in the front, we're driving along the road. We've got a bang on the front of the van. I said there's about 50 of them up on the left. So we're stuck in traffic. We pull the shutter up from the back of the van, jump out. The Cardiff weren't expecting anything. We've come out from around the side of the van.
Right.
We'll run them off up the road. I mean, everyone used to go on about football aggro most of the time. Hardly any punches were thrown or anything.
No, it was all running about, wasn't it?
Yeah, bravado and everything.
Yeah.
We ran these Cardiff lads off up the road. As they went round the corner, we bumped into the police. So we've all turned round, hot-footed it back to the van, and we've all jumped in the back of the van, pulled the back down. So we were sitting there laughing and everything. And there was a bang, bang, bang on the back of the van. And we've all looked at each other. We've heard, get this door open. So we said, there's nobody in here. Like that. And they said, get this fucking door open. And again, we were just all laughing and everything. Next thing, the shutters come up. There's a policeman standing there. And he had the Alsatian actually in his arms, like you carry a baby.
Yeah. And
he just threw it in the back of the van. And I had my brand new mustard-coloured Pringle that I bought the day before on. And he took a liking to that, took a big plunk out of my arm. And he was hanging on my arm, and you've never seen a van clear out so quick in your life. But even afterwards, we were sitting there, and they got us all out of the van, made us sit down on the pavement with our hands on our head. And someone started singing the Gap Band song, Looks Upside Your Head, where they used to do the dance. And we all started like rocking from side to side, putting our hands out and everything. They went ballistic, the old Bill. Yeah. And basically, they got us back in the van. And one of my pals at the time, bless him, he's dead a long time now, mate. He was in the Royal Marines, and he went up to the copper and he said, look, what we do with our mate who's been bitten. I said, if you stop this fucking van before you get out of Wales, they said, you're all getting nicked and you're not going home till Monday. So,
you took their advice.
I had to wait till I got back to POMPEY to go to the hospital, get stitched up and everything.
Bloody hell. Was your arm pretty torn up?
Yeah, I had 18 stitches. It ripped the muscle inside my arm when it bit me, the dog.
Yeah.
It torn the muscle, so I think I had 10 stitches inside and 8 on the outside.
But you had to wait to get back to Pompey before you could go to Casualty or whatever.
Yeah, but they didn't let me sit in the front of the van for the way home, so why not that bad?
Yeah, okay, mate.
We had some good battles with Cardiff over the years. We did that one, and then I think that would have been 83 that game.
Okay.
The next year, obviously, we went up in the Blazers and everything as the wedding party.
I was going to ask you about that. How did that come about? Obviously, to get away from the old Bill, but
just someone had said it as a last. Why don't we all go to the Cardiff dressed up as though we're going to a wedding? So we turned up at the station in the morning. About 20 of us. Everyone had like Farrah's blazer. Some had shirts and ties on. Some had smart jumpers and everything. So and we'd even had a couple of wedding invites printed up.
Yeah.
So when we got to Cardiff, we let all the others get off the train and sort of go out, and then we came out of the station, slipped away. We thought we got away with it, and we're walking down the road, and a meat wagon pulls up alongside. So where are you lot going? We said, we're off to the church for the wedding. So they split us up, and they said, who's getting married then? So one of said, wasn't even Sharon. I said to the others, who's getting married? I said, Tracy and Dave. I said, fuck off you lot, you're not going to any wedding and all this. And I think we were in the ground by 11:30 in the morning.
Right.
They just took us straight to the stadium and put us in the ground.
So the moral of the story is you should have said who's getting married today, lads.
We should have done a bit more homework before we landed.
That's fantastic, mate. So you said about Cardiff already, Eddie. So what was your best firms that, sort of turned up, obviously, at your ground, and when you always went to their ground?
Turned up, well, obviously Pompey and Millwall's well documented.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of mutual respect there.
Yeah.
They've always turned up at ours. We've always turned up at theirs. Even the other week we had them in the League Cup. Look, I was surprised how many youngsters had turned up for it and everything.
Right.
On a Tuesday night. I mean, I think the crowd was 6,000. We took 2,100 there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of young kids in that I hadn't seen about before and that, but all turned out for the evening. Millwall, but Birmingham were always good, home and away. They were probably the only team who's turned up and really taken the piss.
Right, okay.
Yeah. They landed early, went to the Air Balloon, which was one of the pubs that Pompey was used in the evening. It's not a football pub, but they parked up near there and they marched about and went to all the Pompey pubs and everything. So they gave a good account of themselves. Cardiff, Millwall, Birmingham. We played Chelsea a few times. Obviously, one time they brought about 12,000
right
on a night game, and that was quite a brutal night.
Quite lively.
Yeah, quite lively that one.
Yeah.
But obviously, we were in what was the second division then, because you had the four divisions, didn't you? So we were mainly in when I left school, we were in the fourth division, and then we got ourselves back up to the second division. But the year we had in the second division was a brilliant year.
Right.
You had Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City, Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland, Cardiff. It was
all good firms.
Really, all the top firms
virtually
were in that league that year.
You always hear a lot of respect for Pompey, and that not only did you have a firm at home, you always turned up away.
Always, yeah.
And you hear that quite a lot, and I think you get quite a lot of respect from other firms from that. Because obviously, I think
it was a lot different than that. Late 70s, early 80s, and that. You had football, music, and fashion really, and that was it. There was only 4 channels on the TV. There was no internet.
No.
But also, it was much better than it is now.
Times, definitely. You've mentioned fashion, and obviously that's a massive part of the casual scene. I mean, the mainstream media go on a lot about, it's just violent, mindless thugs, which is a load of crap. It's like you said, hardly a punch is thrown. It's all running about and this, that, and the other. Yeah. So when did you first notice the difference of people dressing? Which was the first club you went to?
Well, in the early 80s, I think. I remember we had Arsenal with Charlie Nicholas's testimonial.
Right.
And I actually know the fellow who put the three coaches on, the three coachloads of Arsenal came down. They were just dressed a bit differently, tracksuit tops. But I remember a few of our, I'll say younger, they're a couple of years younger than me, one of my mates. He said that they'd gone to London that week and bought some Armani t-shirts. They'd heard there was a flash sale on or something.
Right.
Gone up, got some Armani. And they said as they were coming over the railway bridge at Frankton, some Arsenal were their way. And they said, fucking hell, Pompey have got Armani on. They were really chuffed about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been about 82, 83. I think it was a game Charlie Nicholas made his debut for them.
Obviously, you get a lot of local rivalries. There's a lot of local derbies. There's Tottenham, there's Arsenal, and then in the West Midlands, there's Aston Villa and Birmingham. Obviously, yours is Southampton.
Yeah.
So what is it, Eddie? What's the beef with Southampton? Because it's well known, but I mean, and it's really, there's a lot of hatred there, isn't there, between the two cities?
Yeah, I mean, there's the story about the dock strike that Pompey boys were on strike for in the dockyard, and they brought them in from the Scummers in to break the strike, so that's how they got the name.
And that's stuck ever since, hasn't it, Scummers?
Stuck ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll dispute that, but I mean, they're not even in our league really at all about anything. I mean, they might be higher than us, but you look at our history, what we've won, how we're respected around the country and everything, they can't live with us.
No, I would say that. I mean, you are so respected around the country. Yeah, I mean, they can't live with that level.
We had them in the League Cup coming up for 2 years ago, and it was a night game, and the police said they couldn't do a bubble and this and that.
Right.
And obviously, they're all on the internet now, gobbing off what they're going to do, and they're going to land early and this and that. And they turned up at 6:10 for a quarter-to-8 kickoff. And it took them an hour and 15 minutes to get them from Frampton Station to the ground, which is less than half a mile walk.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know Martin King came down that night with them and was with Jake, and he said, I've never seen a fucking mob like it on the streets.
Yeah, shout out to Martin King of SW6 Blues Pride of London. Subscribe.
Yeah, good lad, Martin.
Yeah, subscribe. He's also on my podcast, the Football UK Casual Shows, which is out every Monday. Just a quick plug there. So Eddie, this is going to be a really hard question, mate. But your best away day? You've probably had so many, but can you sort of nail it down to the best one?
With Pompey or with England or?
With Pompey, I'll ask you about England in a minute, actually.
Yeah, Pompey. We were banned from Millwall. The year we got promoted to the Premier League, 2003.
Right.
And Steve Claridge got me and my boy a ticket.
Right.
And we went to the game. Frank Maloney was a man then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went into the band. We went like a corporate sort of thing, and then we went through. And as we went in the seats, I remember Steve Spurr mentioned, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Don't worry." I said, "We won't cheer till we go 4-0 up." We ended up winning 5-0. It was brilliant. I mean, just not because of the fact that there weren't many there or anything, but just it was probably football-wise one of the best performances we've ever done. And I'll take my hat off to the Millwall fans. Paul Merson got subbed about 15 minutes from the end, and the whole ground stood up and clapped him off the pitch. And at the end of the game, they stayed in and clapped the Pompey team off as well.
Oh, well,
that was one. I don't know, there's been so many over the years. I mean, I've been going away regularly since 78. Yes, it's hard to pick one out, but that one was a good. Maybe it's because there weren't many there, and that one sort of sticks out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think with away days, I mean, there's 110 reasons why they can be. It can be your best away day. It's a personal question. I interviewed Rob Sylvester, who wrote the book Rolling with the 657 Crew, and he said that he didn't really go to a lot of England games because he wanted to be known for Pompey. You just mentioned England.
Yeah.
So, what was your experiences with England?
Well, first game I went to Wembley was 1978. Me and my pal Paul Nichols, who unfortunately died of COVID earlier this year, we got some tickets and went up against Brazil to a night game at Wembley. That was the first England game. By the way, regularly since 1980. But obviously, from when the kids were a bit younger, then your priorities change a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, had some great days of England. Met some top lads from other clubs and that.
Right.
Really got some good friendships out of it. And yeah, it's a different thing. A bit more sort of planning goes into it and everything like that. We've always had a good turnout for England games.
Yeah. Okay, mate. This is the sort of last question before I finish up, mate.
Right.
Modern football, Eddie. What's your opinion of it?
Not a lot, really. I mean, I feel sorry for the kids now that are growing up watching the football.
Yeah.
We're the little. I mean, you've got all these youth firms now. We're the little youth firm around about the early 2000s. Called themselves the House of Burberry.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, good bunch of lads. Most of them sort of your mates' kids and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, the Scummers going in at Fratton Park, loads of them got jailed for that because they were young and naive. I mean, anyone who goes to football looking for trouble now. Them Newcastle fans last week, got a pub fight 2.5 years ago in Burnley, and they all got 2.5 years for it. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, a child rapist wouldn't get that.
No, right. It's all wrong, and you get a lot of this terrorism now. And they're hunting down football lads.
Yeah, going back to the question, I mean, the game's changed a lot now. I mean, someone turns on their toe to go over like they've been shot by a nuclear missile, rolling about.
Yeah, and this VAR thing, I mean, you can have. I mean, it does ruin the game, Eddie, because you can have a guy now that his shoelace is offside. It's ridiculous. And with the referee's decision, it was part and parcel of the game. I mean, that's why the chant come about. The referee's a wanker, So I just think they ruined it.
I went to Wembley last Sunday for the Andorra game.
Okay.
And I was really shocked because I thought I'd see Ant Deck, Nick Grimshaw, Tom Cruise, James Corden and all that lot there, and none of them were there. I couldn't believe it. They're such good England fans. Got tickets for the final and everything. But that's football now. And I mean, the kids now, even down to the fashion, they all look the same. When we were a kid, if you were a casual, you tried to get something that no one else had.
Yeah, that's what it was all about, wasn't it?
That's what it was about. They stood out. But now it's like they've got a uniform on. It's like the kids who want to be in the gang have never been in the gang. And they don't know how to do it. Yeah.
Conversation with Martin King about this on the podcast.
Or something.
Yeah, and they're off to it, and it's just.
Wise up a little bit, boys, because you get nicked now, it ruins your life.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's a good point to end on, Eddie, really.
Yeah.
It's really been good today. I'd really like to thank you for your insights and the conversation. So that has been Eddie Crispin, former 6.57 crew member, and there'll be more out from UK Casual soon. A thank you to the sponsors of this video, the Casual Thug Terrorist brand and FDR Clothing Company.